Hello, and welcome back to the beautiful world of Avowed. Last time I made a video about this game, I was about 5 hours into it. Now I'm about 15 hours into it, and I wanted to make another review of what I'm feeling about the game after about 15 hours of gameplay. Now, they do say that there's only about 40 hours of gameplay throughout the whole game. And quite frankly, I'm not even out of the first town. I don't know if maybe that's the only town in the game. I'm not really 100% sure. However, from what I've looked up, I think there's at least 4 towns that you can go and visit. The game technically is not like an open world game, but there's still plenty that I've been able to explore. And so far, I'm still enjoying the game. I'm taking my time with it. I'm not really trying to rush through it. And I think that maybe that's why I enjoy the game a little bit more than some. That jump did not work. So we're going to go and try that jump again. I'm still sort of kind of getting used to the controls. I really do kind of wish that I could change the button mapping. They haven't come out with that yet. I don't know if they're going to or not. Hopefully they do as time progresses. Because I know with a lot of these newer games, they basically throw out a half-cooked game and then they decide to try to fix it, within the next year that the game's out. And I know there's a lot of backlash about this game. People are complaining that you can't break pots and that not a lot of the NPCs are moving around all at the same time. To me, that's just kind of complaining about stuff that if you really want to get really into the game, to actually go through and actually do the gameplay, yeah, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. Yeah, it might take you out of the immersion a little bit, but I think they did focus a lot more on the fighting, for the most part, depending on the type of fighting you do and the way that you could play the game could affect what you feel about it. I know that they used the Unreal Engine, and the Unreal Engine is good at making your graphics look good, but it has a little bit of drawbacks. One of them is the path mapping. Trying to set up a path for an NPC to go. There's no built-in sub-program to help with the path mapping of that NPC. And that causes a lot of problems because then you have to go and you have to try to figure out different ways and workarounds to make your NPCs move. Now, of course, when you're in combat, I guess it's a little bit different, but when they're just kind of walking around nonchalantly, that could cause a problem. I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm not saying that it can't be taken care of, that it can actually be fixed or created to where they can actually walk around. I'm not trying to defend the programmers of the game. It's just one of those things that, because I do know a little bit of programming, from back in the day anyway, I'm a little bit outdated with it, it can be a bit of a problem. Hopefully they address that eventually, because all it really should take is a small group of people who just kind of focus on that. And I know it's a little tedious, but I'm pretty sure they can make it done if they really want to. I mean, the game is a very vibrant game, and it's a very high-def game, so maybe that could also be a problem. I'm not really sure. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens in the future. I'm still learning the controls and everything. Like I said before, I still have a problem with the initial menu that they give you for your character. But at the same time, I'm still enjoying the game. These are the grenades that I was talking about the first time that I made a review. At least one style of the grenades. There's multiple styles of these grenades that you can actually use. These I think are like fire grenades. They make your enemy catch fire clearly. And then there's also like ice grenades. So they come in handy. There's a reason for them. And just a word of advice, the ice grenades that you can find, they actually become necessary later on in the game, at least from what I've encountered so far. This was me attempting to use the Grim Roar, I think it's called, in the magic book. I'm not really good with that magic book. I only have 1 point into that magic book, so maybe that's the problem that I'm having, because I put a lot more points in my defense and my warrior stats. That's just because that's the way that I like to play the game. However, I do think that if you do become a Magic user in the game, that's definitely probably the way to go in this game. It makes sense with today's society of people. Everyone wants to be a Magic person. No one wants to be the big tanky fighter dude anymore. So, of course, they're going to focus more on the Magic and the least physical movement possible. And, that hero can have. I don't know. Like I said before, I don't like the way that they did the create a character. I really do think that they are missing a chunk of potential players of this game because of the lack of effort that they put into making the warrior type character. They focus more on the Magic stuff. Of course, everyone likes an archer, so the archer is perfectly fine. But that's just another thing that I've noticed. So it's a little bit against my normal gameplay, but it doesn't matter. I'm still enjoying it. Like I said, a lot of people there were saying this might be the new Skyrim or whatever. To be honest with you, there hasn't really been any good fantasy-style RPGs out in a while. I think the last good one that I've played anyway, was Witcher 3. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that came out in 2015. I'll double check that. So yeah, it's not going to be the next best game in the whole world or anything like that, but it's a fun game regardless. And if you have Game Pass, you can actually play it for free, which is what I'm doing. Is it worth actually buying? I'm not really 100% sure. I'm not 100% sold on it just yet. Is there enough replay value of the game? Once again, I'm not really sure about that. I do know that, I'm playing this on easy, and this guy right here, the Ralga, he was one of the bounties that I picked up in the main city, and there's a board, just kind of like the Witcher board. I just grabbed everything off the board in the city for the bounties and quests and all that, because I was like, well, screw it. I'm going to go and I'm going to enjoy the game. I'm going to go through the game. I'm going to try to spread out, try to explore as much as I can. We'll see how that goes. And so I'm still checking it out, still trying to get through the game and see what I can and can't do. This is kind of neat. It's an opened elevator. I don't know, just thought it looked kind of cool. I like the way that they set it up. I know that's more or less of a little bit of a loading screen, but they did a pretty interesting way of doing that. Also, really quick before I go and start talking more about this game in particular, I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Last I checked, there was 185 of you. And I really appreciate that you guys actually stop on by and check out my videos. I know some of you do a lot better than others. I know that my videos, I guess they can be hit and miss. But regardless, there is a handful of people that actually check out a lot of my videos, and they'll either like it or dislike it or leave me a comment. I always appreciate all of that. Now, I don't care if you dislike one of my videos. If you leave a comment, I do appreciate it. It lets me know what and what not everyone likes to watch, check out. This is just another one of those harder boss. I don't really know if I can call them bosses, but they're definitely harder enemies, and it can be challenging. Like I said, this is me playing it on easy, and I'm still getting kind of beat up. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong because this is my first playthrough, so I don't know. Still got time to figure it out. Here's what I was talking about a little bit earlier with the walking NPCs. You see a lot of them, they're just kind of standing around, and yeah, if you just look at this, you're like, okay, that's a little weird. I mean, everyone is kind of like standing in these little groups and not really even like talking to any of the other NPCs. They're just kind of staring out into whatever. So yeah, that is kind of weird. I'm really hoping that they do something about that. They do have a few walking NPCs, like there's one right here, and I think there was another one a little bit earlier in this footage. But yeah, that's definitely a bit of a drawback. Hopefully, like I said, they can work with that. I wasn't expecting this to happen. I went along with just doing some quests, and apparently I pissed somebody off, and I started getting attacked in the city. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I wasn't expecting that, but it happened. So all right, you guys got me there. I don't know if that's game breaker. Like, I don't know if I like totally screwed up my playthrough. I'm not really sure, but I will find out as time progresses. And like I said before, when I recorded this video, I had about 15, maybe 16 hours of gameplay, and I'm just going through it. I'm enjoying the scenery. I mean, that's one of the high points of this game, is that everything looks really, really nice. Another thing that they did really well is the combat, which I really appreciate, because that's the whole point of actually playing a game, is having some decent combat in the game, because it is, in fact, a game. That's what you do. So, yeah, they got one of the most important things right, which is good. This is inside of this little bit of like a dungeon, slightly different scenery than what I've shown before, and still looks good. The combat's still working pretty well. Pretty much using Series S to record a lot of this footage. I'm doing that pretty much to prove you can actually get a Series S, which is a lot cheaper than a PS5 or a Series X. And the game looks decent. It runs decent. I don't understand why people are saying that they're having lagging problems. I haven't ran into any of those that I can remember yet. And I'm wondering if a lot of the lagging problems are coming from maybe running it on PC. I'm not really sure. But, yeah, I don't know. Seems to run okay on the Series S. I don't see what the problem is. This is just more of the dungeon that I was in, and I'm going through one of the quests. Oh, yeah, this is another thing, the lockpicking system. There really isn't any lockpicking system, which kind of surprises me. I mean, the lockpicking system, that's kind of something that a lot of RPGs use. I mean, we can even talk about the Mass Effect games. They have a lockpicking system, sort of computer hacking system, I guess would be a better way to say that one. But yeah, it's the same concept, you know, you're trying to unlock something, almost like a little mini game. And it's one of those things that you kind of expect from an RPG. So this one not having it, you just, okay, this lock's going to take 5 lockpicks to open up. And you have 6 lockpicks in your inventory, so you break 5 and then you have 1 left. I don't like that. I think they could have done something about that. I think with the problem with this game a lot of the time is that they sort of glazed over a lot of stuff that people expect from an RPG. And I think that's where a lot of the backlash is coming from. You know, your lack of like strong looking characters, your lack of RPG elements, your lack of fighting style stuff, lockpicking system, the lack of the NPCs moving around. There's even like, you can't break miscellaneous objects, which all that stuff is minor for the most part. But when you get a whole bunch of little minor things that just keep on chipping away at a pretty decent game overall, you're going to start getting some issues from people. It's going to start pissing people off. They're going to notice there's little cracks, little chinks, or whatever you want to call them, in the armor of the game, and you're going to get backlash from it. But overall, I'm still having enough fun playing this game. I'm still having enough fun exploring, going around, doing a lot of side quests. I got to fix something I said from the first video. Apparently, when you go up with the amount of points that you have put into your skill tree, the more expensive it gets to reset them. I thought that it was just the base 100 gold or whatever it is, coppers, whatever, to redo your skill points. Apparently it's not. The more skill points you have into your tree, the more expensive it gets to reset them, but you still have the option of resetting them if necessary. Anyhow, we're getting near the end of this video. These are the grenades, the ice grenades that I was talking about. They actually became something that was a requirement, almost a requirement, in one of the quests that I had to do. That's why I put 1 point in the grimoire, because I did have to fall back on it to finish a jump that I needed to freeze some ice or freeze some water. Using one of these ice grenades, I used up all my ice grenades, but luckily I had the grimoire and I was able to do a frozen spell onto the water, freeze the water, and I was able to continue with the quest. So with that said and done, I would suggest at least having 1 point into your wizardry, whatever, and having a grimoire on hand. Bottom line, the game is fun to play. I actually look forward to playing it when I get the chance, and I think as of right now, 15 hours into the game, my original rating stands. I still believe that the game is at this point a 7.7 out of 10. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching my video. I always appreciate it. Leave a comment down below if you have one. Leave a like if you like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, you have a good evening, morning, or afternoon, whatever it is, where you're at. Hope you enjoy this video. Bye now.